This book has a rose, a pistol, and a half-naked dame on its cover. Masculine man surrounded by flames. Oh, by the way, now that you have the cigarette effects, are there any white checks that need intellect? I don't think that I've hit any. Where's my map? I don't even have a map, do I? So I have no idea. Oh, M. You are here. Oh. Oh. Are these all checks that I haven't done yet? These are found white checks. Oh. So none of them are intellect. The pale blue ones are int? Oh, they are? Why are they intellect checks? Where's encyclopedia? Right here. Oh, anything that's logic. Oh, okay. Blue, purple, red, yellow. Oh. Okay. So because I smoked a cigarette, I can go back to the mirror and check that out. The horseback one and measurehead. Okay, let's check those out. That's a good point. That's a good point. Thank you. Let's go back to the horse head. Oh.
All around you, rain falls on the great city of Rivershore. Rain drips from the eaves and floods the gutters, washing the filth away. The spring thaw must be here. The snow is melting.
What am I doing?
Looking up at the sky, cold water dripping from your hair.
What do I see?
Grey sky like great.
These are my shivers that you were talking about the city. How does it feel?
Your shirt sticks to your chest. The shoulders of your disco blazer grow heavy. The cold finds its way in under your skin. You shiver, and the city shivers with you. You're not dressed for this weather. You should get an overcoat or a patrol cloak.
I already know all this stuff.
Sheets of rain over the water. A flight of stairs leading.
Yeah, that other person already told me all this stuff.
Half-sunken sea fort crumble on an inlet.
Oh, but it's just more. Oh, okay, okay.
Ghosts rise into the sky.
Who are the ghosts?
The skyscrapers of La Delta, the financial district. Faint golden light seeps from the office windows. Will you ever go there?
Will I?
No, you are just one of the hundreds of thousands who watch them rise across the bay from Martinez.
What is down the shore?
Urban coastline, rain dripping off Eternite-covered roofs. Cinder blocks left over from half-finished construction. A defunct research and development building, once seized by revolutionaries.
This is really pretty.
An old wooden church stands
like this type of art. I like it.
Above the water. Coal City, end of all lines.
Run your fingers through your dampened hair.
Your hair is an oily mess flecked with ash from neighboring
Should have taken a shower.
plants. Smokestacks rise somewhere in the distance.
What's in the east?
There's a fleet on the corner. A plastic coat is folded into a small triangle under the counter by the window. Beyond that, the strike breakers have gathered. The great gates of the industrial harbor.
A plastic coat is folded into a small triangle under the counter by the window.
Trying to shake water from its hide.
Plastic coat is folded into a small triangle under the counter by the window. Was that the raincoat that she was trying to sell me before? That I couldn't afford because it was like $4? Okay. Clench your teeth to stop shuddering.
Behind the gates, heaps of supply crates, red and blue metal shipping containers.
Okay, so that's over
with the
here.
rain. The Greater Rivershore Industrial Harbor is an artificial mountain range. Immense wealth resides within, and
Right.
immeasurable poverty in its shadow.
And beyond that,
La Drusienne, King Dri's passenger harbor. Cruise ships flanked by dock arms. Cranes watching over the mouth of the river distributary.
What is across the distributary?
Huron, the lower middle class. Distributary after distributary cuts the city blocks in half. 7-story buildings trail off into the rain.
What is beyond the Huron?
A silvery curtain of rain over the houses. The class divide.
Okay, so what's in the north?
Capeside apartments. Tower blocks crowd one another.
Probably where I live.
4.46mm bullets still lodged in their war-torn stone walls. Hallways collapse from the mortar hits of a war that was lost
Oh, maybe
long
not.
ago. Clotheslines go to waste in the rain. Radios play.
And closer to here?
A yard. Rain falls onto the roof of a woodshed. Coal leaks into a puddle beneath a dead man's feet. He swings from a tree, bloated. Droplets of rain slip from his cold cheeks.
What's in the south?
A traffic jam. Rain thrumming on the roofs of motor vehicles. Inside, drivers watch water streaming down their windshields. The statue of a king shudders. He too is cold.
What's on the other
canal
side?
Bridge has been raised. The road ascends. A raised motorway loops above the ghetto. Beneath its concrete columns, a sea of rooftops, woodwork, and tar stretches northward. 4-story buildings as far as the rain can fall. The snows melt in Jamrock. Rivershore is the capital of the world. Jamrock is the capital of Rivershore. Droplets form on your eyelashes. It's home.
Oh. Where the hood, where the hood, where the hood at? Jamrock is the name of my neo-acid cover band. Where do I live?
On a street there that flows like a muddy
Hey,
river
we're getting
inside,
somewhere.
with fire traps rising on either side. A film rental opens its doors to the rain. An armored motor carriage rushes past the corner where you used to walk together. Suddenly, the hair on your back rises.
You cannot return.
Why am I not there?
To be in Martinez, where no one goes, at the runoff point of a long-forgotten canal, in the whitest part of town, in the shadow of the day the revolution fell, standing in the rain, looking north, where Jamrock Rock City stretches inland.
I don't want to say where the hood, where the hood, where the hood at, because that's just a song, but I'm going to do it.
Have a brother in the cut. Where
the
the wood
wood?
at?
Awesome.
In the rain-swept distance, above the rooftops of Jamrock,
Love it.
a repurposed silk mill stands perched above the motorway exit. Precinct 41 hunches in the rain. Your vision blurs. You wipe your face with your hand. The rain stings your eyes, making you look up and at
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's all because of you. Thank you. What's above?
Coalition era statics hang like apparitions under the cloud cover. Way up there, where rain forms, rotors flutter silently. Your sight clears.
Motherfucker.
This rain will not let up.
Hey,
anytime soon.
another
You
5.
should get a raincoat.
All
There's
right.
a freight to the east. They sell them there.
But I can't afford it because I don't have 4. Don't tell me what to do. Let's go in here. I want to collect these bottles. I need a bag. Okay, this was one of my intellect checks.
An old monument stands in the middle of the traffic
Ooh,
island,
58%?
pointing toward the sea. It looks
I
as
like
if
it.
it's been reassembled piece by piece, secured and mounted in the air with the aid of numerous ropes and rods. What did he do? You have
No!
no idea what you did a week ago. How would you know what this high above you, the king stands?
You suck. Things work hard, but the devil works harder. So true. Let's go to the mirror. See how that check's gonna do.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it.
Ooh, we're at 17%. I'm not gonna do it though. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Okay. Okay. We're gonna keep going. We have to go talk to this lady right here. A book appears to be erotica, but without actual erotica.
Hello, sir.
Hello?
Step right in. The store is open.
Hello?
Are you interested in a new and exciting book?
What kind of store is this anyway? Is it okay if I ask you some questions? I'm not even answering. Are you interested in a new and exciting book? What kind of store is this? I'm not even answering your question.
It's a bookstore, sir. We sell books, postcards, and some board games. It's called Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold your horses, little girl.
What is a book?
That is a book.
Why do I ask these
Stories
questions?
about them. It's like someone told you a story in a really long letter.
Why? What's a
A
postcard?
postcard is a small cardboard picture. You can write a few words on the other side and send it to your friend or beloved.
She is unfazed by your questions. She would consider it impolite to point out any perceived
What's a
whim.
board game?
Board games are like little games on a table, made to pass the time. There are several different ones, but sailors here mostly buy cards.
Interesting, thanks.
My pleasure. Anything else you'd like to know?
Is it okay if I ask you some questions?
Okay, sir. I'll try to answer any questions you have. I hope they're about books.
What is your name?
My name is Annette, sir. My mum, her name is Plaisance. She owns the store. She's inside minding the register or organising the stock. Feel free to step in and browse our wares.
And you're sitting out here in the cold because...
I'm signalling that the store is open. Otherwise, people might not know. They'd miss out on the crime, romance, and biographies of famous people.
A sudden gush of wind turns the pages of the books on the counters. She covers her face, smiling. But she's cold.
Wait, what? A sudden... Oh, on those counters. Oh. You're cold. Can I help in some way?
Kind of you to offer, sir.
What could you do to help her anyway?
Give her a coat. I should have a word with the store owner, maybe. Such a good trooper you are, already learning the value of hard work. I could help by brutally dismantling the free market. Have you considered that maybe your character is a little bit dumb? All right, because it was at...
Oh, no, sir. I'm
Fine.
happy to help Mum by
Fine.
luring in customers.
I remember now.
Besides,
I remember,
I have
V.
some hot
You
juice
got a
in my
good
vodka
point.
bottle to
You got a
keep
good
warm.
point. Shouldn't you be at school?
I do my studies at home at the moment. I have to help Mum keep this place running.
School is stupid.
Mum says it's necessary to do both because it
Uh.
builds character. Mum says a proper worker is dutiful. That's how you get ahead in life. You
How's the
succeed.
business going?
Mum says it's peachy. She was a little afraid at first. There's talk about this house being cursed.
Behind her, the window has been boarded up. You sense the boards creaking, twisting for a second, and some kind of doubt in her tense shoulders.
Oliver Twist wannabe. Cursed in what way?
Cursed in the way that makes them say that no business has ever really thrived here, sir. That they all go...
Oh, bankrupt.
Exactly. But we've been doing fine so far.
I should probably look into this. Narrow your eyes and look through the creaking boards on the window.
We can go into the bookstore and ask about the case. But I don't see much more to look into here.
Yes, please do look at our wares inside. The postcards and board games you asked about are also there, sir.
What do you know about the other failed businesses?
Nothing really, sir. Mum doesn't allow me to sneak around in the back rooms or the cellar. I don't really know what's there.
How does this curse manifest itself?
It does not manifest itself in any
It does
way.
not
It
exist.
does not exist. I liked it better when we were talking about whether it's appropriate to stand out in the freezing weather.
But Kim, the plasmic manifestations.
Anything else you wanted to talk about, sir?
Enough about the
Maybe I
curse.
can tell you about some of our books.
What is this
instead.
crime business?
Crime fiction is about
Hi to Leaves,
murders
how
and
did you like
burglaries or
Shivers?
things
Yeah.
like that.
Where the
And
hood,
the
where
work
the
of a
hood, where the
policeman or
hood
private
at? I thought that was
detective who's trying to solve a
hilarious.
crime and catch the
It was good. The Shivers thing was funny. It was funny. And it basically, like, I almost found out where I lived. We're getting closer to finding out my address. So. Wait, not crime fiction. I need to know what crime is. Doesn't know what to say. It's that bad.
Crime is what we were solving before this conversation began.
Shivers always delivers. Yeah, it was funny. Why would anyone want to read about crime?
It's exciting to people, I guess. They get to imagine.
I really
dangerous
am
things.
dumb.
And
Like
it's kinda
they,
like a puzzle,
the
where
character
you can guess
portrays
who the
like no
criminal is,
knowledge.
or how the good guys are
I
going
didn't
to
know it
catch
would be
him.
that dumb. Like that's yeah. I'm a policeman myself, by the way.
You don't look much like a policeman.
What does a cop look like then?
Didn't mean to offend, sir. Sorry, sir. It's just that you don't look like Dick Mullen.
Dick Mullen. He's exactly like the Mullen guy. They decided to live a little. You know, nobody actually looks like the guy in the picture. It's just stupid fantasy. It's not your body that's important in police work anyway. It's your... Wow, look at that guy. I'll never be as good as Mullen. I'm going to say that.
Don't say that. He's not even real. You're real.
That's right. A real failure overshadowed by a fake man. That's harsh. I don't really want to deal with this too much.
Cheer up,
It's
sir. It's much easier being a fictional character. He doesn't have to deal with real things. Maybe you can show me some real deductive police work, sir. Like in the books.
Ooh. Okay, I'm going to deduce something now. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna keep asking questions
It's
though.
the type of book where there's a rich lady and she has to choose between the good man and the bad man.
I'll never measure up to Dick.
Or there could be a story about a poor
What I
man
said.
fighting a rich
That's
man.
what I said.
It's about man and lady business, sir.
What about a poor man getting a rich lady? What about when both of the men are bad? What about when everyone is poor? What about a book where the man and lady business doesn't work out at all? What about both men are bad?
These are not very common. You can't have a choice between bad and bad. Nobody wants to read a story like that.
What if it's written really well?
Well, maybe then it's fine. Maybe if the lady then decides not to pick either, because she doesn't need a bad man.
What about a
Yes,
poor man getting
that
a
would
rich
be
lady?
interesting. It happens, but usually the guy gets rich in the process. Or should actually be rich himself, but has lost his family property unjustly, like during the revolution or something.
What if there's two men and they kiss? This is the 50s, right? That's like, it's kind of like a, not a thing that's looked proudly upon.
Those are unhappy books.
Is
for
that
most
is
of
that
the
a
ages.
good time period to say
People
that
are sad about what they have
that's
lost.
where that
But
is?
then it all turns out just fine in the end.
What about when everyone is poor?
That's really not a proper romance story.
Aw, that's
like
not
everyday
true.
life.
I think it could be. I think it could be. Sometimes you have to write about real life things. Sometimes you have to write about... Yeah, that's
Not
true.
in romance books, sir.
What a book
These
where the
are about
man and
nice
lady
pretty
business doesn't
people,
work out
and
at all.
I haven't read many of those. Maybe you should ask Mum.
This is Rivershore. Things are different. Yeah. You think she has one about an excruciating, painful
I
breakup?
don't think it's a romance story if the main characters break up, though.
No, think about it. One where they plunge into a torrid spiral of pain and recrimination. Wait, recrimination. Only it's really long and drawn out. Scarred for life, phantom limb.
No.
She's
I don't.
confused.
You can take this. Blossom like a pain.
Yeah, and it drags on for years and years with no resolution in
The
sight.
girl is at a loss for words.
Each of you filling with resentment and bitterness for having ruined each other's lives.
She shifts and sways on her feet, looking confused and uncomfortable. Stop. There's no need for this. It's in your power to change the subject.
On second thought, this seems like an inappropriate topic to discuss with children.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough romance for
Maybe
me.
some about other books.
We're gonna do a check. This is not a white check. Oh, this is a white check. I can retry it. Okay, let's go.
The girl
Yes!
has her hands folded, hidden. Why is that?
Hey, why do you keep your hands folded?
What do you mean, sir?
She knows where this is going.
You don't need to be worried. I'm here to help. You can show them to me. Actually, I'd rather not deduce anything. Every time I deduce, people get hurt. You don't need to be worried. I'm here to help.
She looks around anxiously. Her hands remain folded in front of her. She doesn't want to show them. The lieutenant stands by, looking at the two of you with little interest, a facade of true professionalism. He is far more intrigued by the situation than his poise reveals.
It's okay.
She brings out her reddened hands.
Oh, there it
Her
is.
nails frayed, nearly chewed down to the flesh.
You bite your nails.
And you knew this from me keeping my hands folded?
There were a few other hints.
Well, that proves nothing. Anyone could do an easy deduction like that.
She actually is impressed. This is more like a defensive reflex.
But I can figure out why you bite your nails. You think so? Fine, do better. To do something about me. Okay, I'm gonna do this one.
She nods, half provocative.
You're uptight because your mother and the pressure she's
enthusiastic.
putting on you. Rats have been nibbling on your fingers. Child labor is in dismal working conditions. Chewed on nails means you're recycling your body material. Is an intense dedication to the way of business. There are no riches without personal sacrifice. Ooh. It's either 1 or 4. It's an intense dedication to the way of the business. There are no riches without personal sacrifice. Oh. I'm gonna say the bottom one.
Thank you, sir. I work hard.
Either way, another ace deduction by the number one detective in town. I hope this entertained you.
It was okay, sir.
There's more that can be achieved here. Ask her to do the same.
You think so? Fine, do better. To do something about me.
You're quite sober.
The lieutenant does not flinch at the comment. He does not flinch even a single bit. He is intensely not flinching.
It takes
It
effort.
takes effort.
How do you know I'm usually not?
Because you usually aren't.
True. True. And I'm also sad and my head hurts.
I'm sorry, sir. I hope things get better soon.
That's funny.
There she stands.
Hey,
swaying
more experience.
On her feet, assaulted by the early spring
Ooh.
breeze. She smiles at you. The whole situation suddenly feels familiar, somehow.
Who are these famous people?
Oh, kings and queens and generals of old, or artists and writers, or musicians, those kinds of people. There's usually something extraordinary about them. I think that's why people read them, to find the secrets of their fame.
Okay.
Seems like most people who read those books fail to get more famous from reading them.
Reading those doesn't make the readers more famous, does it? Right, I had a different question.
But it does make the famous people more famous.
True. Fame sounds delicious. Maybe someone will write a book about me. Fame is for vain people. I have better things to do. Seems to just sound like a bunch of dorks. Fame is for vain people.
Okay, sir.
Next. I'm gonna do this.
You have absolutely
No! I had like a
Familiar?
70...
How? You must have forgotten something you heard again.
How? How did I fail that? Ah. Gift books and... Okay, okay.
The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring
Tell me
an
about the
extremely
Muscle Man
muscular,
books.
sword-wielding barbarian on the cover. Nearly all the titles contain the word Hyundai somewhere.
Oh, Man from Hyundai. A very popular series of adventure novels.
That's probability
They're
for
awfully
you.
immoral and violent.
Ah, that check should have passed for me so badly. It's ridiculous.
Blood and violence, scantily clad women, epic narratives, all those mystical things he encounters. They're bound to grab those with little imagination and nothing to do.
Which one should I start with?
What does it matter? They're all the same. However, The customer is always right, they say. If you're a novice of the series, I'd recommend Hyelm Dalaman.
9 real?
It's supposed to be a good introduction to the series.
Holy shit!
Rows and rows of
That's
Hyelm
more than the
Dalaman
raincoat.
vision. You make out some titles. Man from Hyelmdal and the Mammoth Riders. Maybe 100.
They're all erotica books.
Man from
Yeah.
Those snow crabs are worse than they sound. Not even close. Man from Hyelmdal in hell. Man
Do any
from
of the books
Hyelmdal
call out to
and
me
the Forest of
that we're gonna do
Slaves.
this?
Man from a twinge at the back of your head makes you flinch. Your eye starts twitching.
What is it? Ow.
Your hand reaches toward a book with glossy cover art of the very muscular man from Hyelmdal in chains, kneeling in front of a staircase leading to a throne. A woman, she's laughing at him, belittling him. Between the throne and the Hyelmdala man lies a bonfire, casting shadows on the wall. The shadow of the woman's headdress looks
like a pair of devil horns.
The title reads, Man from Hyelmdal and the Devil Woman. Especially those leering types who seem to wear nothing but an armored bikini. There's also some sort of a snake lizard beast slithering around her abdomen, chest, shoulder region. The display rack before you is burdened under piles of Man
Oh,
from
that's
Hyelmdal.
$9 as well. Great. This game makes a lot more sense when you realize it's Estonian. What do the books do for, like, why would I buy a book? Does that actually give me something, or?
A small mountain of colorful board game boxes.
What
There
board
are
games do you have
numerous-
here?
Wonderful board games, sir. The Viticulturist is a classic for sure.
Viticulture.
Or perhaps you'd like Archipelagos of Incylinder, a very educational game
Those
for
sound
those interested in
like a
geography. Graubritter is a fun game of economic competition, but can get quite intense after a while. We have games for the whole family. You can play with your children.
Who are you going to play board games with? Do you have friends or family?
Do I have friends?
Are you actually friends? Or just colleagues thrown together by circumstance?
Look at me. Who'd want to have children with me? I don't feel as if I have any kids. Yes, kids, friends, chicks. I have all those.
Friends are technically like family.
You can read books to pass the time. Oh, so that's all it is. Okay. So it doesn't give you like stats and stuff.
For playing with friends, I'd recommend Suzerainty. It's a civilization building game where you build a
Books are knowledge,
civilization,
knowledge is
then
power,
set
power
off
is
to
time,
brutally
time doesn't pay,
colonize
payment is
and
money.
repress other civilizations. It'll cost 12 real.
12?
Lousy auras there. No, role-playing games are popular among those types. You know,
Holy
who are into those
shnikes.
kind of things. I've heard they turn people into occult enthusiasts. That they have rituals where they try to summon entities. Highly immoral stuff. You can still buy them though.
Look through the pile of we're all related
An
items.
endless variety of source books, lore books, and codices littered. There's
There's
also
just a bunch of
large
books.
hardbound tome.
Anything that
with
really
intricate
catches my
cover
eye.
art. The Hunt. There's a box that says Wirral, 3rd edition mega setting supplements module. The side panel notes a fantastique adventure board game, new maps and miniatures. A sticker on it displays 25 real.
25 real.
Nonsense for anemic bean
Wow.
cards.
Wow. That's not expensive at all. In here.
You see a set of tattered curtains blocking the way to another room. A strange cage-like trinket dangles from the curtain.
Excuse me, officer. The back room is strictly for employees only.
Up here, what's behind the curtains?
Nothing. Now please go back to browsing the books. Don't you feel compelled to look at the books? The books are all you care about.
Oddly enough, the more she tries to draw you away from the curtains, the more alluring.
Examine
they
the
become.
strange cage-like trinket.
You see some kind of charm, an irregular polyhedron assembled from bones, sticks, and straw. Inside,
Reading a book
disturbing
to
fissure
pass the
within
time
the eye
in a game
sockets
you're playing
stares at
to
you.
pass the time. That's called Inception.
Aside from poking at it suspiciously, there is nothing else to do with the fish head charm at the
I will leave that alone. I'll leave it alone for now.
These shelves are overburdened with books from the same series. You see the name Dick
Art
Mullen
imitates life,
over
imitates
and
art.
over.
Oh, crime, robberies, murders, even sexual crimes.
I don't really understand why I would waste money to buy these
You're
books, though.
A police officer.
Crime fiction is a disgrace. These books greatly overstate the excitement. What's more, they completely ignore the psych. Not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. Detective fiction just doesn't tell the truth at all. Now, would you like a list of all the books found on the You
Sure.
see, Dick Mullen, a killing is declared. Dick Mullen.
Oh,
in the
shit,
murder
Dick
house.
Mullen dies!
The final case of
The
Dick
murder
Mullen.
of Dick Mullen.
An obvious lie. Dick Mullen in the clock tower. The ordeals of Dick
Yeah,
Mullen.
you didn't
Bootless Dick.
you didn't reply to the wrong
Dick
one.
Mullen's funeral
It's just
pyre.
it puts it all together. So
murder
like
of
it'll
Dick
always just
Mullen.
list the first one, and then if you click on the little message button, it'll like expand it. It's yeah. I don't like them either. Dick Mullen dies.
Turns out he faked it to solve a case.
Oh. Woo. Woo.
Yes, there's also tragedy calls for Dick Mullen. Come on, this is not the way real police solve.
Come on, Chester. Tell the story again.
Bald man turns towards the lean man and pats him on the back.
Again? Man, I tell that one at least once a month. It's not that interesting.
The fuck it is. And these guys haven't heard it. You see, Chester here.
Disco Elysium players be like, why the fuck would I read a book, then call 8 paragraphs of text compelling gameplay? In the game, I don't, and I know what you're saying, but in the game, I don't understand why I would just make the character read a book if all it does is pass time and spend like $9 of money, because it's hard to get money. Like, I'm barely getting any money. Why would I do that? Like, why would I spend the money that I'm barely making to do that? Because eventually you make a ton of it. Like, I don't know.
Why?
And I can just go sit on the bench.
A very fucking
Or sleep in the
dangerous
bed.
Case, ain't that right, Chester? They almost got you that time.
Yeah, sure came close. Alright, so I was tailing this guy called Francis the Shoe.
After all this, you still haven't found the answer to the one question that matters.
Who is Dick Mullen? Okay, we're doing a roll.
Your quick eye notices
Hey!
a small caterpillar crawling across the spine of a book. The title reads, Dick Mullen and the Mistaken Identity.
What do we have here? Mistaken
A
identity.
worn paperback from Dick Mullen's classic hard-boiled phase. The premise seems to be that Dick Mullen is framed for the murder of his best friend. And
It's just a few days to prove his innocence. Why does this speak to me?
Could it be the motifs of unstable identities and shocking betrayals? Then this is the book for you.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. I got you, but I will say that some of the books are worth it to check out for various reasons. Oh. Oh. You could probably read them to advance some story. I'm kinda getting the point of there's probably some experience to gain from them, but
Several maps have been attached to a bulletin board hidden inside the alcove. They're held up by small pins.
what's my character's
The board
name?
has
We
come
don't know
loose
yet.
from one corner.
We haven't discovered that.
The maps look old and faded.
Dick
Your eye
Mullins.
catches a map of Insulinda, a map of Rivershore, and a map of Martinez.
Look at the map of insulin.
This large map displays archipelagos. You see a constellation of small dots on the light blue emptiness of the Insulindic Ocean. The largest in the northeast is La Caillou. You are here. Another far away in
Caillou.
the southwest.
Oh,
Celanese
I know it's totally
Islands,
different.
Ile de Fantôme, Ozon, Laurentide, Fas à la Mer, archipelagos. In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the north coast of Caillou in a bookstore.
It's you.
It's you.
In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the north coast of Caillou. In a bookstore, it's you.
Radiating outwards from you, the suzerain Rivershore, with a radius of 80 kilometers, still, the crown jewel of this Isola would be barely visible.
Can you see cities on the
You
islands?
can, on Caillou, Rivershore, a single black star.
Did a map
on
just call us
Ozon,
bald?
Fondelier, and Vimandu on archipelagos. Croyan,
The map is speaking to me. I
Villiers,
love it.
on
I love it.
Selenine, lost little pearls of light, tiny fires in the dark.
Look at the edges.
The ocean breaks apart into a tangle of cosines and azimuths, all pointing into pale nothingness. Connections to other worlds, words past the Incelindian, unknown to you. You only
know you've never been
You
there.
have little idea what they are.
Oh, I
Distant
failed!
stars, gods.
Holy
But look
shit!
at them
That was a
as you feel
17?
almost non-existent.
Oh my god.
Whatever they are, the Isolas are immeasurably large. Perhaps they are gods.
I failed
Lots
another
of
one.
distance and outer dust.
Okay, let's do this one,
The
Rebel.
north coast of a verdant island is shattered by the delta of a river. It is the River Esperance. Countless bridges put the shards back together, connecting
That one was
city blocks
impossible,
to river
yeah.
islands. La Delta says a great artificial heart in the center. To the east, rolling hillsides, Le Jardin, Stella Marie, the suburbs
In
of
the
Saint
west?
Prudhomme. It's somewhere to live.
Then there's
Not bad.
Jamrock, right?
Then there's Jamrock. It's bad. People shouldn't live there, but they do.
I feel like
Then
I'm from
Fort Worth.
Jamrock.
It's so small you can't even see it on the map. No, wait. There it is. North of Jamrock. The
strip of coast next to the great river called
Rivershore
Industrial Harbor.
Harbor. It looks downright
almost Coal
no,
City, right?
Coal City is worse. A charred limb. Rain falls on its slick black streets. And then there's the burnt out quarter in the heart of Jamrock. Is it cold in this bookstore? Or is it just you?
I like that. The Shivers is saying, is it cold in the bookstore?
No. This is somewhere to be. This is all you have. But it's still something.
Okay, so the map of
Streets,
Martinez.
sodium light. It's not really a map. It's a tourist thing. A picture postcard with buildings on it, drawn from an isometric perspective. A date in the upper right corner says 48. Still, it's detailed. Could be pretty useful for scouting ahead. You see the jagged boxes of an industrial harbor, even the whirling in rags there.
Encyclopedia versus the Chad Shivers.
I'm sorry, officer. The map of Martinez is the only one available.
What? Why?
The other two are not for sale anymore. And besides, you could scarcely afford them. They're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though.
Hey, I'll buy that one. Why is the one in Martinez so cheap?
That old thing. It's an out-of-date map of a tourist location that never was nor came to be. From when some design studio people tried to spruce the place up.
Ooh, we're gonna buy the Martinez one. I have enough
Renovated the
money!
horse statue, set up those coin-operated viewers, and designed the new street lamps. They didn't get that far, for some reason. A shame. The
Steal
project
it
got going.
instead?
Would be nice if someone fixed Martinez up. All these ruins are bad for business.
Why would I steal it?
Always good to be informed of your surroundings.
You've acquired an interactable item. Investigate this item further by going to the Interact tab in your inventory.
Okay. Okay. How do I... What do I do with this map? Do I have to put it in my hand? No. Use interact button in inventory to inspect it. Oh,
The
this.
worn map
Oh my god.
features
Oh my
the
god.
patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez, with directions to appropriately touristy locations. Year 48 resides on the
Trace a
upper right
path through the
corner.
grid.
Your finger moves through the various streets, across Rue de Saint-Ghislain and Rue Saint-Cypar, over Saint-Brun and Martinez North.
I'm also still missing my badge and my my gun.
Finally, coming to a halt on the spot where you are currently standing, although the map gives no such indication itself.
For a more detailed view of the map, go to your journal and select the Map tab.
Go to your journal and select the map tab. Okay. So what did that do for me? What did looking at that do for me? I have no idea. Now, if you click on a check, it'll show you where it is. Oh, like it didn't do this before. Oh, I thought it did do that before. Oh, cool. Thank you.
The plaque on the shelf reads, biographies of famous people.
Anything
would
of note
say-
here?
The Greatest Innocence. Yes, most
Who
certainly.
or what is an
A
innocence?
very influential historical figure. But surely I don't have to tell you that. You're a law officer, and law office. The book is
I don't
also
have any
very
education.
daring. The author aims to re-examine the universal understandings of the innocentic system, creating a fresh vantage point and a shift in the
I thought it was
tide
about which
order
of these
things.
innocences is the coolest and greatest, so you recommend it. Great, I don't need to know anymore.
Certainly, it's prudent.
feel
You would
like
recommend
should get
any
this
book in here that I could buy it though.
It's important. Browsing through all the books with all their names makes your head spin.
Histography is
seem
so fun.
important or
History and
relevant.
geography were probably my
It's all
two
just
least
rapid
favorite subjects in high school, way back.
Suddenly, a particularly odd title catches
High Speed
your eye.
Love: The
It
Tragic
reads,
True Love Story of
High Speed
Jacob
Love,
Uru and
The
Alfie de
Tragic True Love
Latraz.
Story. High Speed Love chronicles the romance between two of the finest tip-top tourney racers in history. One of them is the madcap driver, Jacob Irv. His blonde mane graces the cover. Next to Irv's life story, you see a slim biography of an Occidental rock star called the
Anti-Star.
He's famous for shooting morphine into one of his eyeballs and cocaine into the other.
Jesus.
Next to that, Rivershorean radio personality Guillaume Bevy.
I really
Can I
must
buy any of
insist
these?
You buy one of the books. Reading them is not for free. Do still browse though. But
She understands she has erred against the customer and immediately corrects course.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, I did not mean to rush you. You are browsing. Go ahead.
Yeah, screw you, lady. Let me do what I would need to do.
This bookstore is not strictly about crime. Amidst the various books, you find one written by someone named Matthias.
Okay, so these are the
book,
paranormal
and
books.
many others on this shelf is to give people medicinal advice in
Ah.
situ it serves platitudes, while also telling everyone that traditional medicine, the kind people don't have access to, and which
It's
costs
garbage
more
and
than
only
this
give you
book,
cancer.
wholeness, unity, balance.
Right.
When it's up to your mind to heal yourself, then it's because of your mind that you're ill. In the book features chapters on topics such as
How to find magnesium, how to continue drinking if you're an alcoholic who has destroyed his liver.
There's even a chapter on the ancient Seraïs tradition of using duck gallbladder preservatives to treat and prevent sexually transmitted diseases.
That's
This
hilarious.
is just mundane garbage. What's even paranatural about this?
Oh, 97%.
The throbbing in your head increases with every passing moment you gaze at this shelf. Suddenly, as if out of nowhere, a small green book becomes
Medicinal
apparent. The
purposes
title
of the
it
pale.
reads,
What's the
Medicinal-
pale?
The book contains very little explanation on the matter. This knowledge seems to be taken for granted.
What's this book about?
The book contains descriptions of various pseudoscientific therapies, alternative medicines, and folk remedies involving the pale.
Also known as
Also
Le
known as-
Territoire.
For example, it recommends vigorously swatting one's naked body with a venik or hand broom, made from the leafy twigs of a young birch tree from the near pale.
Seems like we're going to get naked and we're going to be swatting ourselves with a big twig.
Even better if you can find someone else, preferably a large man dressed in nothing but a towel.
To thrash you while you're
You're
spread
spread
naked and helpless on a
on
cool slab. Oh my god. Sounds invigorating.
It is, and good for the circulation too.
What else?
It also recommends consuming distilled spirits like
vodka or whiskey.
that have been aged in
Right.
the pale. Readers are instructed to cover these jars in a shallow hole just inside the pale and leave
Right.
them there.
And what does
for
this
30
pale
to
aged liquor
60
do?
Among other benefits, it is alleged to restore a damaged liver to perfect health.
Oh, it alleged to restore a damaged liver to perfect health. Interesting.
For general health and well-being, readers are encouraged to take regular strolls through the Pale. Though, a
Okay.
sidebar, these strolls promise to cleanse the mind of worries and the body of toxins,
Interesting.
especially if the perambulator performs. This is exactly what you need. I don't know. I don't want to be the party pooper, but this Pale territory
Sounds sort of dangerous. Maybe you shouldn't. Well, huh?
sounds
Anything
sort of
else?
dangerous.
Hmm.
Maybe there's an entire section devoted to cures for men who are struggling to perform their marital obligations.
I certainly don't
You
need that.
close the book and return it to its place on the shelf.
Story, what books are these?
Sir, please, no browsing in that shelf. I can't have you end up, like, opening...
Alright. That's it. I think that's it from the bookstore, other than we haven't had a conversation with her yet. Yeah.
Welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biography.
Probably should have had a conversation with her before
Mind,
anything.
Be welcome, and please take responsibility for the energy you bring into this space.
A golden pendant hangs around the woman's neck in the shape of what looks like a tiny fish head trapped in amber.
Before we go on, you seem to be well off enough. Can you give me some money? I feel like it won't be an opportunity to ask later. Oh my god. A curious pendant you're wearing near your eyes mysteriously.
Oh yes, helps to have an anchor in these times.
So are you the owner of this store?
I am the proudest owner of our little shop of culture.
Middle-aged alcoholic sees a potential solution to ED. I don't need it. It's true. True. You have to drink specific things. Specific things.
She is fine.
Not all alcohol causes
common
that.
approach for attracting new customers. It doesn't work.
What if I want to buy a book? Your daughter is the one standing outside the store, right?
Annette, yes, my daughter. I hope she wasn't slacking off again with her nose in science fiction. Tell me, was she at her post doing her job like a proper girl?
Yes, of course.
Wonderful. Did you talk to her?
Yes.
Great. On a scale of 1 to 10, how compelled were you to buy books after talking with her?
Her opinion of her daughter depends on how well she lured you.
She's
into
certainly
the
very
store.
polite and helpful. 5, 1. I'm not going to grade a human being. 10.
My precious, her dedication brings joy to my heart. If you have children, I hope they turn out as great as my Annette.
The way you're handling her strikes me as wrong. Annette is quite the trooper. She's a great value add. I'm here to dismantle the free market and abolish child labor. All this pressure has made her really anxious. You know she's been chewing her nails. I can't tell her that. I can't tell her that. Oh, I don't know. This is a moral dilemma right now. The way you're handling her strikes me as wrong.
Mind your own business, sir. In our society, people don't get to tell each other how to raise their
Damn it.
children. It's none of your or anyone's business.
Damn it. Can't tell her about the nail chewing thing, though. Because she'll go after her for chewing her nails.
The woman before you scans the store, her shoulders rigid and tense.
All the pressure's made Annette really
Every now
anxious.
and
You know
then,
she should
she
farewell
nudges
now.
her glasses.
What if I want to buy a book?
You were already doing good, browsing the
I already
everything is
did
on
this.
The shelves.
Yeah.
Take a look yourself. The shelves compel you.
She's attempting to mentally direct you towards the shelves. She only
Do you even
wants
know
to
what books
buy
you have for
books.
sale?
Truth be told, not really. My sister brings in most of, but you don't learn about the important things in life from fabricated
Shouldn't a
stores.
storekeeper know about her wares? Where do you learn about the important things then?
Truth is available if you just know where to look, and you have to open and free your mind to understand.
She smiles and nods, seemingly relieved.
I feel like I'm going to tell her about the nails.
God, I've told her not to do that. It's disgusting. And I told you to mind your own business.
Okay, so it didn't do
You
anything.
have no
Okay.
idea how hard it is to raise a girl in this economy.
This economy is a mysterious force.
I don't think she can do
like
anything
cosmic
about it.
weather, mysterious and harsh.
She can, if she has enough willpower. This is what's called growing pains. Life isn't easy. Life doesn't give breaks.
Come on, ma'am. It's obvious she can't do anything about it. You are placing an unnecessary burden.
What you're doing is
on
wrong.
your
If I
child.
don't really know anything. That is true, and obviously the will of the market, but maybe make an exception for your daughter. Yeah, actually, it's super alright for kids to chew their hands off. Forget I said anything.
She stands stiff and severe, silently fuming. 10 or so seconds pass, without change. This is a person coming to terms with a new reality, one where they are wrong.
Not
It's
easy.
not easy.
Oh no. Hold on. I need to invite her inside and apologize. She must be freezing out there. There. I don't know what to say to her.
Hey, did we just
My
fix
husband,
something?
He tries to teach me business lessons. I have what my mother called a dull mind. All this stress.
Hey, that's awesome.
It sounds like both the husband and the mother treat her the way she treats Annette. Yes, sometimes it's better to let people come to these conclusions.
Is this husband
themselves.
Annette's father? Is she an only child? She told me she doesn't go to school anymore.
Yes, my husband is a successful entrepreneur east of the river. If only he were more involved in the business we're running up here. No matter. Soon we'll both be off for Grand Couronne.
Wait, Grand Couronne, what's
It's
that?
a proper place to live.
Taking a
One of
moral
those
stand can make
peaceful
things better.
neighborhoods
Who would have
east of
guessed?
Jamrock. You
I just
know,
thought that
it's
she was
massive
gonna. So
housing project.
back then, if you ratted on your child, so say for instance, like your child was doing something bad, and the mother always told you no. The idea would be like if somebody told you that they were doing that, and the mother found out, she'd go outside and beat you. So I was worried that being like, hey, you shouldn't do this. She's biting her nail. She's doing whatever. I'd be like, oh, she's doing that? Oh my gosh. And then later she'd come inside and I'd beat her ass. Like that's how things used to work. So I thought in my mind, I was like, oh my God, if I tell her, this mom's going to beat her ass later.
Most of the buildings are empty at the moment. It's a great opportunity to get ahead of the crowds. Better times ahead for sure.
And your husband's also involved with the
He
bookstore.
made the initial investment. Since then, he's been what you might call a silent partner.
Is she an only child?
Yes, I'm afraid so. A real treat she is. It would be nice if she had... No, we couldn't have afforded more children, really. Not in this economy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She told me she doesn't go to school anymore.
She's been too busy helping me here. So she studied at home this trimester. This is a temporary solution, of course. I assure you, I of all people understand the importance...
The woman looks aloof. Her features much softer.
Yeah, I want to go talk to her again.
I'm sorry, sir. I can't.
You just can't win.
What are you missing here? Why does this feel familiar?
You have absolutely no...
I am failing so
For
many
real?
of these damn checks.
You must have forgotten something you heard. Again.
Ah, that's a fair point. I think I did that quest line pretty far into my campaign, so I didn't think Pleasance would do anything like that. But early on, I can definitely see why that might be a possibility.
Math. It's really difficult. Like, really. They say you need it to get rich. Better than standing outside in the... Oh, I found something while you were away. I thought this would fit you. Like, thanks for...
Hey, I got Dick Mullen's hat.
The city I mean.
Yeah.
Like a detective does.
Yeah. Yeah, F is right. Oh, I'm terrible. I'm terrible at these rolls. Where did you get it?
Just what Dick Mullen would ask. I got it from behind the curtains. I'm not really supposed to go there.
A detective hat.
Yes, just like the one Dick Mullen wears all the time. You'll look
Oh
way
my
more
God.
serious with that.
I can measure up to Dick after all. Hilarious.
Right, I have to get back to my homework now.
That's amazing, for one. Oh my God, it's Indiana Jones's hat. Holy shit. I just got Encyclopedia +1. Oh my God, I look so awesome. Oh my God. Okay, we're done in here. It's a beautiful hat. Eiston. Beautiful. Okay, let's keep going. This. The coin-operated viewer has been banged up and is inoperable. Broken window. Gibbs has windows. I would love to find a bag so I can collect the... Yep. It'd be awesome if I knew where a bag was.
This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full of fossilized bubble gum, rendering the
inside.
machine permanently inaccessible. A thick layer of graffito covers the lenses. You spell out the word Onuk written on the other side, with N and C scribbled backwards.
Isn't that Kuno?
Under the graffito, a sea of blues and greys appear. Behind the water lies a coast studded with concrete and reeds. On it, a church on stilts, lanky, weather-worn wooden planks. An X-shaped. The church looks old and weather-worn. There are no lights in the windows.
I'm gonna pat it.
The metal feels cold and wet.
I'm not gonna shake it. I tried shaking it last time. No, not happening.
This coin-operated viewer is facing south.
I'm not gonna do that either. What is up here? Okay. What's this? Oh, slow down. Slow down. Ooh, money and magnesium. Ooh. Nicely done. I think that's where the tree is, yeah. What's this kid doing?
Are you trying to sneak up on me? Come
Yeah,
to
I knew
steal
that's
my
what it said.
phone in my sleep. Pigs come to take me out. Trying to snuff me out.
Why would you even say that?
Why are you sneaking up on me like... Trying to sneak up...
Oh, you don't want to say anything to me? That's... This. A garden hose, this won't be of use until the snow melts. The smoker up there could be a witness. Talk to him.
It's been a week and now
You
they show
see
up?
a young man on a balcony nursing a cigarette. His eyes have been following you for a while.
Not looking for any trouble, officer.
Why are you whispering? No trouble for me, I just want to know what's going on here.
I don't want to be seen talking to the gendarmerie if that's okay. I just want to finish my cigarette.
It's the god of cigarettes and youth. Ask him if he's got anything to spare.
Can I at least have a cigarette?
Apologies, but this is my last one.
Why is it everybody's last one?
The god himself has denied you absolution.
I need absolution.
Absolution? I don't know that brand, but I'm pretty sure you can get
I
Astros
did.
at the Frit.
Can you just toss that one down?
I'm not sure that's a good idea.
You're right, that was absolutely a bad idea. I forget I said anything. Yeah.
As you wish.
Actually, the Grenadier really needs to talk to you.
Is it really that important?
Yes.
Like a nervous cat, he keeps stealing looks at
Oh.
the windows.
Oh,
All
shit.
right, but make it quick. Once I finish this cigarette, I have to run.
You tell me your name.
My name? My name is Martin Martinez.
Martinez.
Martin Martinez. Good local name. Let's go with that.
Let's say that you made that up, okay? Looks like I failed the rhetoric, right? Looks like you got a good view of the whirling backyard. Can you tell me anything about
I'd
what's
even
hanging?
go so far as to say that the view is a little too good, my dear gendarme. Do you have an estimate of when the body will be taken away?
We will remove the body as soon as possible. Now tell us.
Where were you last Sunday?
Oh. You already asked me that, didn't you?
Did you?
No, not you two. Some more muscular type.
Oh, no way. It was the guy at the front gate.
And when did you speak to this more muscular gentleman?
Oh, or was it, what's his face? Whatever head. Measurehead. Probably Measurehead, right?
Last week? I don't know. Look.
Yeah, Measurehead.
You didn't answer the question. What were you doing last Sunday?
I had a friend over.
What kind of a
It
friend?
was my Sunday friend.
A Sunday friend. How intriguing. Makes sense. Friends are nice on Sunday. You don't have
Friends
to worry.
are nice
You
on
can just
Sunday.
spend time with pals.
What's your friend's real name? Did he see something?
He doesn't reply, gesturing no with his cigarette. In the neighboring windows, you can see faint reflections of his silhouette. Someone hides behind a curtain. Those windows have eyes, and those eyes are watching, spying
Okay.
on you three.
No.
We won't.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I really need to get going.
Ooh, this is a red check. Convince him to stay. Okay, here we go.
Time to bring out your secret charm. Tears and begging. Show him your emotional side. Throw yourself before his very feet like a dog.
Why? Why can I not pass any of these gosh darn checks?
No, for God's sake, I don't want you to cry. Listen, I really have to go. Good luck with the investigation.
And he's gone. Oh, these friggin' checks.
He's gone.
We should run after him and see where he
No
went.
point in running. Tenements like these often
He probably
have
didn't have anything
multiples.
important to say anyway.
If
Should
he
we just
doesn't
give
want
up?
to, he could be a witness. There has to be a way of getting inside the building.
Find a way inside the large apartment building in the north. Yeah, so we're gonna. What are my stats? Right now I have all this. I picked sensitivity. Sensitivity was my thing. But like... Oh, I'm so upset because it said... I'm getting all these like 70 to 80% things and I'm failing them. Blows my mind! What's this? Oh, can I just go in?
There must be another way to the building.
Why was there an echo there? Ooh, orange bum hat. Okay. Oh, that's good to have. That's good to have. A closed door, but you look at it suspiciously. Oh, can I not get over there? So I can't get in there. Can't get over there. Can't get over there. Okay. Yes. Alas. Alas. I get screwed over. Okay, we're going back. Looks like blood. It is blood, isn't it? Can't. Roundabout north. Cape Side Apartments. Inside the frame of a motorcycle in repair and the tools used to disassemble it.
Hey, up here, piggo.
Up here, Pigos? Oh, hi.
The streets will flow red once more.
The good thing about this game is that failures often aren't as catastrophic in the conventional sense, but it certainly is frustrating. It is. It's just frustrating. It's frustrating that I'm failing every single one of them. Yeah, give me 2 seconds, sorry. Cool. You can interact with something, but it's highlighted in white. Sometimes you need a tool for it. Oh, is that what that's going to be? Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. Thank you. I probably have the tool for it. I didn't know that. If you interact with something, but it's highlighted in white, sometimes you need a tool for it. Wouldn't it give... It won't give me the option to use a tool if I already have it? I have to have it equipped already? Is that the idea?
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date
Oh,
of
you were
birth,
talking about skulls
blood
before.
type, the last time I was
You have to have it
tested for
equipped,
Hep
okay.
C.
Just want to know your name, little lady. No need to get defensive. Don't use that tone with me. I'm the law. Let's start with your blood type and go from there. Hep, yeah. When were you last tested? Just answer some questions. Like blood type and go from there. Just answer some questions.
Ask away, pigman. I don't.
And you do
promise
not
to
like me.
answer.
She's grown frustrated with her work and welcomes the opportunity to challenge.
Sometimes it's just
authority
that it's locked for now. Your mileage may vary. Okay. Keep looking out to the side. What are you looking at? What are you doing to the wall?
Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural, an aereo graffitio visible from low orbit. I haven't really started it yet.
I'm waiting for the right words. So you don't know what to write.
Have you ever tried your hand at graffitio? When faced with a blank wall,
Why is she
most
saying
people write
graffitio?
unimaginative
It just
stuff,
says graffito.
like pigs go home.
She's putting like an
Homo
extra
is
I
here.
in there. Yeah, because people wrote pigs go home. I saw that.
Rarely
Man.
see pigs round here though. Just union cats. And my name's not Mona, so.
She wants it to be something true, and
Why are you so committed to defacing the building?
This place is severely lacking in havoc. Not even the occasional trash can fire to break up the tedium. I thought I'd mix it up. Yeah?
I love public art. Don't mind us. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to have to stop you. This is hooligan. Actually, I don't have an opinion. I lied. Yeah, I don't.
Lying is cool, I guess.
You keep looking off to the side. What are you looking at?
the lieutenant furrows his brow.
Do you ever think the skills are like Twitch chatters? These? Sure. But I mean, like, and I know that there's Twitch integration in this game, where you can, like, I think it's like you can choose what my answers are going to be and stuff. But I'm definitely, like, not going to do the Twitch integration my first playthrough of this. I'd get screwed over.
Hatred, disgust. It's difficult to tell which of the two is more present in her girlish features. The woman on the boat does not notice her staring.
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
Who is she?
Probably the Wild Pines rep. We should talk to her. She's a professional negotiator, though.
They're
I
like
have the feeling
voices
she
in
will be
MC's
very
head,
cooperative
in the main
while
character's
telling us
head.
nothing.
Like every time that there's a main piece of thing, yeah, for sure, for sure. I get what you're saying.
Ask
Yeah.
her unexpected
Kinda,
questions,
it's kind of
do your
intuitive if you think about it that way.
Don't be
I
afraid
like that
to get
thought.
a bit wacky. Throwing her
I like
off
that thought.
is our best bet.
V, what other games do you play outside of this one? Like, what other games are you into?
Good idea, piggies. Run along now. Fuck her shit
Fuck her
up
shit
good.
up.
Impound that boat while
Do you know
you're at
anything
it.
about the
I'd
recent
like,
murder?
I ain't no snitch, pigstein. Go forth and forage in someone else's
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm, informative manner.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant.
Hades, Ace
Fucker.
Attorney, and Sunless Sea. I've never played Sunless Sea. I love Hades. Hades is a top 10 game of mine. I did the whole thing through beating it 10 times and getting that end story and stuff. I love Hades. They did such a good
Watch
job.
your back.
Such a good job. Okay, so you said that if there is something white, it can usually get broken into if I have the right tool on me. So, if I go to tools, and I say I put a pry bar here, right? Oh. And there we go. I didn't know that. Oh, that's so good. So good. Man, we gotta go look around again. What's this jacket do? Esprit de corpse. Oh, it takes off a half light. A half light. This. Let the body take control, threaten people. But I gain suggestion. Is that what it said? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't need that right now. To be fair, you've been failing a lot of those suggestions recently. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Oh, look at that. Ooh, is it like clipped through? What's going on there? Ooh. It's going through the map. Weird. Snappy. I look good, man. I look good. Oh, what was this again?
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building.
Why am I looking at this wall? I don't know. Okay, so if this is a door that's white.
There must be another way into the building.
Oh my god, why are you yelling at me? That was really loud. And that's probably another way to get in. Okay, never mind. Let's keep going. Let's just go this way.
A sturdy metal door guards the southwest entrance to the apartment.
Him really doesn't want you to go through the door. Yeah, I know. Stay away from it! Oh my god.
This could be a way into the apartment building the smoking man vanished into.
Knock.
The door rattles against your knuckles, but there's no response. The door rattles again, but this time you hear.
Oh.
Stop banging on the door!
Stop it!
I'm not letting any more strangers inside.
Who am I speaking to?
Doesn't matter who I am. Now go on, get out.
This is the police! Open the door.
The police? Everyone knows the police don't come round here.
But I'm not joking. I need to talk to a young man in this building.
No, I already told you. I won't be responsible for any more strangers. Go check the backyard door. Maybe someone there will.
Backyard door with the smoker. You already were there.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
Hey, are you there? I've checked the backyard but couldn't get in that way.
Good. We had enough problems with bums.
Ooh, here we go. Convince her that you're a real policeman.
You have no business here.
We're going for the check, baby!
You're well versed
Yes!
in the kind of threatening legalese that implies criminal liability, but in fact has no meaning whatsoever.
Oh. Ma'am, your non-compliance is hindering a police matter and may be forced to refer to you for potential prosecution.
I know my rights, and don't you mom me, boy.
Hey, Godfather, what would you rate this game out of 10? I cannot give this game a rating yet because I've just started it and it's my first playthrough. So we're about 4.5 hours into this game, and there's probably like 40 hours in total, so I haven't even scratched the surface on here. I can't. I did just play Divinity Original Sin 2 though, and that is like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 game for me. That's a friggin' amazing game. So,
Miss,
how are you, Godfather? What's going on?
To show you our badges.
I don't have badges. No, you already know I don't have my badge. Why would you say that?
Hold your horses.
Would you say this is a must play and hold your attention, or do you really have to be in the mood for it? This type of game is not for everybody. That's for sure. I don't think that it holds people's attention for very long. I think you have to be willing to sit through a lot of text, a lot of storyline, a lack of gameplay. Like, you need to really just immerse yourself in the system that it presents. But for people who really like CRPG systems and RPGs and stuff, if you're okay with the slow pace of detective work, of course. But recommending games to people is so subjective because everybody likes something different, and it's very, very tough to do that. Like, I can't be like, everybody in the world needs to play Breath of the Wild. Like, I can't do that because I know a lot of people who don't like open world games and hate them. So I can't go to a friend who hates open world games and be like, you have to play Breath of the Wild, this will change your mind, because it won't, right? You need killing your games and never read stuff, but I can enjoy a good story when in the mood. And when I say killing, I mean in the action way. Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I can't... Just like Divinity. Like, Divinity is like a 9 out of 10 game for me. But I can't recommend that game to everybody because you need to be able to... It has complex systems. The combat drags out, and it's like you really need to know what you're doing with your skills and your stats and your dialogue choices and all that stuff. But it was so compelling to me, right? I usually don't like story-based games, and Divinity has just opened me up to this whole world of story-based games. I love it. I absolutely love it. Sort of must-play that you have to be in the mood for. To be honest, I suggest this mainly to people who are book readers. And that's where the must-play thing comes in, V, is that you have to say it's a must-play for people who like story-based games, lore-based games, something where they can sit and get something out of it, right? Outside of that, you can't be like, oh my god, you have to play Disco Elysium. It's like, it's just so enthralling. Like, no, it's not. It's not. For somebody who really enjoys story games, really, yes. But for somebody who likes, I would say somebody who likes Mass Effect, sure. But if somebody who's like really into Halo or really into Call of Duty or really into Fortnite or Warframe or anything like that, this isn't a game for you. This is definitely not a game for you. Been a while since I played a story-focused game. I think last one was a Telltale game. If you haven't played Divinity Original Sin 2, I recommend it. I recommend it if you're into Disco Elysium. If you are into Disco Elysium or you're into CRPG style story-heavy games, I recommend Divinity Original Sin. To be honest though, Fred, I'm surprised you like this game so far since you said you don't like history. You don't really have to like the environments or the setting or the whatever to enjoy these type of games. It's like you don't have to like fantasy to enjoy Divinity Original Sin 2. You don't need to. Like, I can be enthralled by the detective work in this game. I can be enthralled by the idea of, oh my god, like, I like discovering, like, he doesn't know who he is, but he has this voice inside his head, and there's all these things. I'm really into D&D because there's all these checks and, like, the systems and mechanics and rules and all that stuff, right? So that's why I'm into these things. So I was looking at Original Sin 2, but I hear it takes forever to finish. It took me 150 hours. It's usually like, the thing says it's like a 60, 70 hour game. 150 hours to beat that game. Too many games on my play already, so that's why I use the term must play. Would I say that this is a must play if you have too many games on your thing? No.
I don't care about your stinking badge. Just come in.
I got a new skill point! Woo! Now, where do you... I'll probably hold on to that skill point, though. I'm probably going to hold on to that. Oh, she's letting me in. Oh. We're not going inside yet. We're not going inside yet. I prefer my games to finish after like 20 hours max. This is like a 20-hour game if you don't go discovering everything. Because it said on how long to beat, it says it's like 22 hours. But there's no way that you can, like... I'm trying to look at everything in this game, and it's probably going to take me 40 to 50 hours to beat. I would say. Oh, what's this? Ooh, another one. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Is there anything that you recommend that I level up right now, or should I wait until I have a bunch of red checks? Or sorry, white checks that it's like, oh, I should go do that now. Like, for instance, like if I went to my map and I was like, I have a majority of blue. I should put them into blue and go back to all these things. Like, is that something that I should do? Except for, of course, like Dark Souls, I didn't mind the length of like 50 hours. I love the Soulsborne games. Bloodborne is one of my top 5 games of all time. I love Bloodborne with a passion. Let's talk to you.
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce.
But recently finished Odyssey. Odyssey is amazing. I thought Valhalla was a step backwards. Odyssey was great. I still want to play Origins. I haven't played Origins, but Odyssey was so good. I loved Odyssey. Even though it was a good game, it still overstayed its welcome and was longing for it to finish towards the last 20 hours. I loved that game all the way through. I didn't even rush it. I think I put in almost 100 hours in that game. Loved it. You can save 2 levels and usually keep one saved until I need it for a red, or if I really want to retry a white. Oh, okay, okay. Origins even better. I've yet to play Valhalla. Valhalla just fell for me. The characters were completely boring. The world was not intuitive. Didn't like it. Didn't like it. Excited to play Origins when I can,
Joyce
though.
L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines. The owners
Oh, you're
the
part of the
harbour.
union, aren't you?
Gentlemen must be from the RCM.
Gotta be part of the union. What does the L stand for?
Clayton, my maiden name.
Her bony hand dangles from the sleeve of her oversized raincoat. What exactly is RCM?
I meant you, the Rivershore Citizens Militia, the police.
Sorry, 1 second. One second. Sorry. 1 second. Thank you for the follow. Hold on. Hold on. I have twin daughters, by the way, and I'm a single dad, and I always there's always news or photos or stuff that I need to keep up with, so. Okay, sorry, we're going. What gave us away? Oh yeah, we're the police.
Honestly, I've said it to every drunk.
Godfather, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for everybody who's followed today. I appreciate that. There's lots going on this page. If anybody is new here, I am a variety streamer, so I play lots of different games. Tomorrow, we actually have 2 sponsored streams. One of the first hour, so I start at 8 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. The first one is a JRPG, and then the second one is a tower defense game. So we'll play that for the first 2 hours, and then we'll come back to Disco Elysium tomorrow. I'm currently playing Cyberpunk 2077. I'm playing this, Disco Elysium. We play Fall Guys sometimes. I want to get back into the Yakuza series with Yakuza Kiwami 2 because we played 0 and 1. I want to play Assassin's Creed Origins. I'm really excited about God of War that's coming out in November. Tons of stuff. Tons of stuff coming. I'm really excited. I am Canada. I'm from Ontario. Yep. I am from Ontario.
What is implied here? That you're a drunk?
I live in an igloo, as you can see behind me. I'm not a drunk. I'm a police officer.
Of course you're not. It was only a joke.
Shake her hand.
I'm glad to see you here. I was dispatched.
I'm supposed to like that girl didn't like you.
Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering
from an unusual medical episode.
Very unusual.
Little backstory, I only played like 2 games from 2018 to this year, so I needed to do a lot of catch-up. So this winter, I went back to my playlist and binged a ton of games, finished about 17 games. Damn. It's too many games to play, not enough hours in a day. I agree with you. I just hear really good things about this game, so wondering if I should fit it in. If you have time. It depends if this is your type of game. Like, if you usually like action-packed games, though, it's not going to be your thing. Yeah, there's no combat. Like, I think there is, but it's like dialogue-based combat, and like you lose health because you make dialogue choices. It's not like turn-based stuff. It's not that. Yeah. Me, I'm usually a Souls gamer. Yeah. I love my Souls games. Elden Ring, oh my god, I loved Elden Ring. But Bloodborne is still my number 1.
You have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation.
Oh, we already did
It's
that.
hard to get a read on her precise disposition. but she appears.
You're on a
helpful.
boat. This is how awesome I am.
Why, yes, I am.
It's as close to a modern day point and click as you can get. Agreed. I can agree with you. I think it's a modern day point and click with D&D mechanic. If you like Dungeons and Dragons, a lot of that stuff is in here. If you like Dungeons and Dragons, a lot of stuff like that is in Divinity Original Sin 2, the Baldur's Gate games, the Pathfinder games, all those. Yeah, lots. Am I going to play the new Monkey Island game offline? I won't stream it, but I'll play it offline. I played all the other ones before, but yeah, that's more of a chill game for me. Yeah. All those games take too long to finish, eh? For you, they would. For you, they would, yeah. For what you're saying, where you like it, but CRPGs are usually like 100-hour games, and then like you have your Persona games. Not a lot of people on boats, are there?
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around?
Wait, we're on an arca... What do you mean, archipelago?
I mean, we are on Le Caillou, are we not?
I thought we were in Rivershore.
We are, and the city of Rivershore is on
He's
the
on the island of
Le
Le
Caillou.
Caillou. Right. Still, I haven't seen anyone else sail a boat around here.
I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle.
If I could live to 200 years, I would play them. It's true. It's true. My backlog is stupid. I think I have over 800 PlayStation games in my PlayStation backlog on my PlayStation 5, just from the PS4 and PS5 stuff. I have a ton of PS3 stuff that I haven't played, a ton of Switch stuff that I haven't played. My Steam backlog is stupid. Humble games that I've gotten through like those things. Itch.io bundles that I haven't played games on. The Epic Game Store where they give you a bunch of games every week. Like, it's crazy.
It's for crossing long distances in the greater Rivershore industrial harbor. It's not a type. I've started Fallout New Vegas. I know that you're talking about it because it's not a CRPG. But I mean, like, I've started New Vegas and I stopped because I really want them to like remaster it. I think New Vegas is such an ugly looking game that I really want them to like remaster it or something.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long
If you play Fallout mainly
distances
for
in
the
Bay
story,
of
you'll like this
Rivershore,
game. If you play it
between
mainly
the
for the
city
shooting and
the
skip most of the
islands.
story, it's possible, but probably not. I don't think so, because Fallout New Vegas isn't a CRPG. I don't think, because of what Godfather said, like, the type of games that he plays, I don't feel, he or she, sorry, that's my bad. I don't know. I just don't feel it. I don't feel like this would be under your category, even though, like, people say, like, these are must-play games. You have to, I don't know.
She's having a good
I
time
don't feel it.
arguing against the law. Too good, perhaps.
Does she have a name?
The boat? No. It is called Coeur d'Alene.
Too many games, so I've basically narrowed my games
because
to only
that's the
AAA
type of
games or
soup it
exceptional
is.
indies. That makes sense. This would be your exceptional indie, though. It would be.
The word "it" feels strange.
Okay, so
Such a
he's
beautiful
good.
boat
All right.
deserves a proper name.
The word "it" feels strange. Such a beautiful boat deserves a proper
A
name.
breeze ripples through the sails and tugs at your hair. Below, the sleek, fish-like shape of the hull parts the water. Beneath that, a resounding darkness.
What kind
You're
of boat
reminded-
is it?
It's a pleasure craft. A 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for
Category 1 racing.
Though these
boat
days
really
I
needs a
may
name.
use it for... Okay. How about Coeur d'Alene 19? Why?
Oh, there you go. How much is it on GOG? I know on PlayStation it's $13, and I know on Steam it's also no, I think it's $20, and on Steam it's like $13. Yeah. So on Steam it's $13 as well. I'm playing on Steam.
Because it was manufactured in Rivershore East by a company called Coeur d'Alene.
No. Fallout
and
is
its
an
hull
RPG.
19 paces
It
long.
is. It's not a CRPG. Fallout is an RPG. It's not a classic RPG. No, these are classic RPGs. These are like Dungeons and Dragons style things. Oh, it's not on sale anymore on Steam. Oh, it just ended then. Yeah, I got it on. It was on sale the other day. That's why we're playing. How about the sleek fish? How about the X something? How about Dolores?
Why Dolores?
I just like the name for some reason.
Well, it means nothing to me. I think I'll stick with the fact check.
Oh.
My sloop, I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby.
No. C stands for classic. So, like a classical RPG. So, yeah.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview.
So, like, if you think
It
back
has
to,
so
like,
little to do
what
with
D&D
the
is, it's all
activity.
about, like, being meticulous with these stats and your isometric view, and, like, the combat would be a specific way, and, like, these are just old school CRPGs. That's what they are. There's a bundle with Control for some reason, which is weird. Don't think they are from the same makers or publishers.
I really do.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't think so either, but that's a good question.
He's looking at the woman.
You have a license for this boat.
Officer, I assure you I'm a highly qualified pleasure
craft operator. Maybe I should wait for it to be on Steam, since most of my games... If you're not going to play it now, wait for it to go on sale on Steam.
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat's hull as she smiles. Qualified pleasure craft operator. So charming.
Can I see your license?
I just renewed its safety inspection last month, officers. It is completely seaworthy. In fact, it's taken part in not one, but two Insulindic regattas. Even
Still need to
finished
see a
ones.
license, ma'am.
Actually, you don't.
What do you
the
mean?
Wayfarer Act specifically denies the RCM the authority
Oh,
to deny
I didn't know
anyone
that.
license. It's a little-known fact among us law officials.
How exactly little known is this?
I was just being polite. Even school children know the Wayfarer Act.
No! We can't pull over random civilians to demand their papers. Makes sense, I guess. I mean, look at me. Okay, forget the stupid Wayfarer Act. I had another question.
No need to resort to self-pity, detective.
You need to save face if you want her respect.
Demand that passport, okay? I'm gonna need your passport.
Of course.
994 games on my Steam account. You should look up, there's a website. I don't know if it's called Time Wasted. There's a website that tells you what your Steam library is worth. Just look up, like, what is my Steam library worth? And there's a website that you can put your name in, and it tells you how much money all your games are worth.
The woman is silent, smiling while the waves lap against the hull. In your hand, under the plastic.
So what did you say were the sponsored games? Tomorrow we're going to be playing...
As a lion and an ostrich. Seagent.
Give me 1 second. Go onto the page. Tomorrow we are going to be playing... Mineralis and Space Raiders in Space. Mineralis is on Steam. Space Raiders in Space is on Nintendo Switch.
The woman, born in the year 3 in the commune of Rivershore.
Your name is
smiles at you,
Rejoice? Yeah, because
face
she said her name is
adorned with
Joyce.
Frown.
Yes. But please don't call me. Joyce is much more efficient.
She doesn't like it. Probably a bad memory.
You're from Vesper.
My husband is. I have dual citizenship. A Vespertine is handier when traveling.
I do have Game Pass, yes. I do.
She nods and returns the plastic bag to her coat.
I just played Midnight Fight Express or whatever on there. Psycho and I just finished Escape Academy on there. Beacon Pines I started playing on Game Pass. And I'm waiting for the Persona games, other than 5. I'm waiting for 3 and 4 to come up on Game Pass.
Good.
Tell me about Wild Pines. What do you do?
What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole.
You and I are the same?
It's
We're
a
the
giant
same people.
undertaking.
Oh my god. You're playing this game right now. Since we're on the subject of game, what would you recommend as an intro for JRPGs? An intro? Final Fantasy games. Easy. Play Final Fantasy games. Are you talking now? If you're talking about modern, like I'd play Final Fantasy VII Remake, even though it's action and it's not classic turn-based. But I would play the remake first and foremost.
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships
My favorite game of all
there?
time is called Legend of
Those are
Dragoon.
the shipping
It was
side
on
of
the
things.
original PlayStation. But I would play, yeah, for a JRPG, I would definitely go the Final Fantasy route. I know that they just pixel remastered the older ones, and I think they're still worth playing. But yeah, I think those are, I think that the Final Fantasy series is a very good one to start with JRPG. But if you're looking for like action RPGs, like Ghost of Tsushima is amazing. I would definitely go down that route of that game. Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is one that I would recommend to anybody.
And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy.
Chrono Trigger used to be an amazing game for me. I used to love Chrono Trigger, and then I tried playing it again, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't get into the systems. No. But it's still really good. It's still really good to a lot of people. So 7 is the one with Cloud, yes.
It would not hurt to inquire more.
How much money does Wild Pines have?
I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year the company booked more than 20 billion.
They did remake 7, so that's why I said you should play Final Fantasy 7 Remake. They did part 1, and then part 2, I don't know if it's called Reunion. It's called something with an R. Is coming out in a bit. So.
A billion?
What exactly is a billion?
It's a number, officer.
A big one. What is it made of?
It's made of 1,000 millions. A million is made of 1,000 thousands.
Wow. That's it. I thought Wild Pines was supposed to be big time.
And to think, there are years when the group books losses in the billions.
Well, Final Fantasy VII was already a 3D game. So they're just making it into a... They got rid of the turn-based combat and made it into an action game, and then they redid all the graphics and remade like the story to be a little more modern and just made some tweaks. Like some of the areas are the same, but it tells a little bit of a different story, which is cool.
Wild Pines employs 72,000 people, all of whom have families that depend on their salaries. It is a tremendous responsibility.
Where does Wild Pines get all these billions? That's all I need to know.
They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian East.
I feel that about a lot of older
250 years ago, when Pine ships explored the South Seminese and charted Lormentang on behalf of the suzerain. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it.
What does such a huge system want with a place like this?
You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo?
8% of all cargo in the world. It's quite the endeavor.
There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for.
Oh, I got a new
lest
thought!
The entire system break. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their jobs.
I don't know what that means, though.
I'm here to assure that doesn't happen.
Ooh. I feel that about a lot of older games. I think it's just that the tech has changed so much. The mechanics UI from like 10, 15 years ago just feels awful now. I think just action-based games are more, like, it just gets... The people are more into those type of games, so it just, like, lets the action flow, and it is a more modern type of combat, so... You never played an FF game? I only know the One-Winged Angel music piece and Melodies of Life. Final Fantasy games are really good. It's just it's a beautiful series to play. I didn't love 10, and I didn't love 15. 15 was still good, but I didn't love those ones. I played a shitload of Final Fantasy 14 online.
With your help, hopefully, says her warm.
What can you tell me about this strike?
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets.
What if you want to hear about trade secrets?
First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade in Elements. That gives me the right to silence.
You're not into turn-based combat? And that's funny, because I love turn-based combat. That's why... So Divinity Original Sin 2 wouldn't really be for you then, because it's turn-based. An octopus, I will slay it. How do I repeal it then?
Why? By throwing off half a century of foreign domination under the Coalition. Unfortunately for you, the Coalition also leases you the right to police West Rivershore.
The lore is wild. There are a bunch of alt universes. It's... Because they're all different with different characters. Like there's one or two. I think there's only one character that you see throughout the whole thing, but the universe kind of connects, but like the characters are just all over.
But I am derailing us. You wanted to know about the strike.
What is your role in this?
I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place. Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates.
Right. Oh, you mean Measurehead?
Yes. Jean-Luc Measurehead.
How were your talks going before the lynching?
Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
Picard's evil yet similarly named cousin.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
What happened to Gaumont?
Mr. Clare told him to, how did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see.
Okay.
Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before.
Jeez.
And who was more than fair with him and the union.
Sounds like usual aggressive posturing.
What are their
There
demands?
are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Oh yes, every worker, a member
of the board. I don't know what to think about that.
Fortunately, they explained it. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about anything, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group.
Jeez. The workers can't be kings. The king is king. The king is dead. Long live the workers. What are you going to do?
I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position. A hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags.
Consider.
A disastrous situation.
Oh, me?
If there ever was one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna take a side.
Excuse me. From whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the boyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
This checks out.
Scabs at the gate. Did you put them there?
Scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock, come to plead for work where the union refuses to? If they were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you.
Tell me about this
Not
union
right now.
boss.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first.
Really?
Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
Is he that bad?
He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar.
Edgar.
Yes,
There are 2 of
Edgar
him.
looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does. And when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues.
What about the union itself outside the Brothers Clare?
The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act. But
They did it.
I can respect that. Organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
A mob. The Debarders are a crime syndicate.
Crime syndicate.
Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has
he's
tried
got way
using
more of
the
a level
past,
head than
but
I do.
I'm afraid our
Oh, thank you.
concessions have only
Likes you.
emboldened
At least she
their
likes one of
grassroots
us.
brother. And your opinion, detective, if I may ask?
An effective
I'm a
advocate for the
curious
rights of
and
local working men, a
talkative
giant leech
Would you
sucking
say
the
the
life out of
Debarders
Revachol.
Union
Basically a
is-
socialist mob. I prefer not to have an opinion on these things.
Of course, officer.
One more thing you said, something happened in the
I'm
election.
glad you asked. There was a woman, the
Experience!
previous forewoman of the Union. She disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of
I
the
just
local
get
chapter
excited for the
elections, her
experience.
daughter phoned in and said she wasn't
It pays
running
to
anymore
listen. It pays
or
to
coming
to
work,
check things out, right?
Ever. End of story.
Some kind of extortion, probably.
Indeed. The company suspects foul play, but there's nothing they could do. It was a union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help?
What can you tell me about this
Quite a few
lynching?
things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets.
Oh,
For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names
a
and badge
secret
numbers.
task just got completed. Damn. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers. I don't have my badge.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct
Oh
57.
no, I don't have my...
And this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
How curious. Why is that, detective?
Awkwardness washes over the conversation.
Oh no, remember apparently I
Everyone
had
doesn't
recently
like this
suffered from an
terrible
unusual
news.
medical episode. My lost badge is related to it.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode?
It's possible after a night of heavy drinking, I lost all memory of my life in the world. I could have eaten it for all I know. I don't remember anything in this world, this city, nothing. Yes. I'll say 2.
Oh dear. I suppose this does explain some of the
I didn't want to tell her
curious
about
turns in
my drinking.
conversation.
Okay?
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
Of course, I sympathize. But I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
No!
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to
Oh,
some sort
you
of
better
mutually
pass this
beneficial
check.
arrangement.
You better damn well pass this check. That's a 92% pass rate. Oh. Wait, your level? Do you mean like use... Like, are you saying use it on suggestion? I mean, just reminding you, it's up to you if you actually want to use it. I just have to find my badge, right? Like, if I find my badge, I can come back and she'll tell me. So is it really worth me wasting it? Hang on, she should be open to some sort of mutual... What kind of arrangement would it be?
I mean, favors for favors. A dirty alliance of some sort.
Okay. Ooh. Ooh, this went up to 97% now because I just said that. This has to pass. This has to... Come on.
Easy.
Yes!
Just offer a favor. Like I said, nice and dirty.
Okay. There's some other ways to demonstrate our law enforcement credentials.
I will be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something very tangible.
You're in.
I get so nervous at that.
A hard bargain.
Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. This is an open secret in Martinez.
The Union controls that terminal.
So it goes to reason.
They're profiting from this trade.
The company has tried looking into this matter before, to no avail. Perhaps someone with your authority and resources might turn over the right stones, or you can recover your badge. Though, if I may be blunt with you, it sounds like that may be a lost
Gotta be
cause.
somewhere. It's gotta be somewhere.
Detective, a word in private before we continue. This is not going quite as I hoped it would. Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and not volunteers to be her henchman.
So we're henchmen now?
This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser.
We've played straight into her hands.
He doesn't let it show, but there is a limit to how much the consequences of your unprofessional behavior can cost the investigation.
What do you propose that we don't investigate the drug trafficking? We could just, find my badge.
Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large and your badge is 8 by 6 centimeters. You could request a new one from the station, but that would literally take months.
I don't know. I'd like, how hard is it going to be to find my badge? Okay, I have a question for chat. Number one, have I just walked by my badge? Like, is there a place that I've been where my badge is? Second question is my badge within this area, or is it much farther somewhere else in this game? I haven't walked past it. Good to know. And number two. Might be kind of spoiler, so I don't know if I want to say it. Okay, never mind. What do you propose that we don't investigate? Let's get back to her. I'm sorry for putting it. I'll handle it.
I'm sure you will, detective. No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate.
Otherwise, we should claim we're siding with the Union or that we're on their take. We never hear the end of it.
What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for her information on the lynching.
Okay. Okay.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Tell me about the alleged drug trafficking.
It's quite straightforward. Someone is using
ingredients for what, ma'am?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL, and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff.
Let me get this straight. The materials come from Samara to Rivershore through the terminal.
Yes. After they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is taking place at various sites in and around Jamrock Quarter, north of here.
Wildpine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the Union also produces the product? Sells drugs, I mean?
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union does not produce it.
They
transport
it.
The ingredients for a cut.
And you want us to investigate?
Yes, but you won't get anything out of Everart and the Dock Workers Union. Still, every chain has its weak link.
Am I going to need bolt cutters for this?
Unlikely, officer. I'm talking about the lorries. Once the ingredients reach Jamrock, they're distributed to a network of local manufacturers, well beyond our grasp. But in
I'll say with question 2, it's entirely possible to miss the badge. Okay, thank you.
Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. One of them might be waiting for a crucial shipment.
I know that person. That's the racist guy. That's the...
I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company secrets with you.
You'll be indebted to her, in a way. But one step ahead of the Union in another.
It's no coincidence the lorries are stranded there like this, is it? What proof do you have that Union is
How
involved?
do you think they're financing this strike? There are thousands of unpaid dock workers going strong for the 4th month straight.
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to bankruptcy to fund it.
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local businesses can scarcely provide for themselves.
Do you think the strike is being funded with source ingredients for drugs?
Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely. Then loaded on.
The guy lied about the apples.
You simply need to find one driver who will open up.
It sounds like she tried looking into it herself, though she's clearly not the type your typical lorry man would confide in.
No coincidence the lorries are stranded there like that, is it?
No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our subsidiaries. However, this is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the trade committee, they'll have no choice but to lower the drawbridge, and the operation will continue. Thousands of litres of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of Rivershore.
Not the east across the river,
but the west.
Well, at least this solves one mystery.
What is that, Lieutenant?
Why I had to call East Motor Track and beg them to open a drawbridge for me. I'd wondered since I first drove in, on my motor carriage.
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them trapped here. This is a unique opportunity. I'm sure you understand.
Why didn't you come to the RCM earlier?
We did. On more than one occasion. Apparently, there's some sort of inter-precinct disagreement.
How much time did I have left for rent?
This area falls under.
Is that timed? You need to pay for the damages you caused in the world, or you won't have a place to stay tonight. Ask around for money and be careful. Oh, it's... I thought these were the timed ones. Oh. It doesn't say a time, though. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to get these funds from. I have no idea.
We know the company has launched its own probe into the Union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up empty. It's not just the RCM. No one's been able to find any hard evidence.
Well, here's your chance, officers.
Yeah, I've made up my mind.
Yes?
So he said that we can take it, figure it out, but not tell her. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
According to my reports, there are at least 3 lorry drivers lingering near the roundabout. It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. I can keep the drawbridge up for a few more. In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way.
Smart, I need someone to give me a lowdown on this reality we're in.
This reality?
Related to that medical episode.
Ah, yes. The episode. Sounds like an acute case of encephalitis.
No, I stopped Psychrat. I'm no longer online.
Don't be
As you can see.
madame. He functions perfectly well. He only needs a lowdown on all of reality.
We may be here a while then.
Ooh.
Ask away, officer. I'll help however I can.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
Ooh. Oh. Oh. Begin with the first. Where are
We're
we?
in Martinez, baby.
What is Martinez?
Martinez is a district of Rivershore. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour, north of the 881 and Jamrock. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. shelled to smithereens during the Revolution. It has its charms, just not this time of year.
Tell me more about Martinez.
I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. Not
It's
a lot
always
has
groovy
changed.
this far up the Insuline. Disco,
There are
baby.
ruins, a terminal, fishing boats, reeds, boys with boxy shoulders. This place used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its work.
You mentioned a
The
sea. What
reeds are
sea
the
is
real
this?
star of the show here now. The further down the coast, the wilder it gets. It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Rivershore, and the bay feeds into the ocean.
Are we near the ocean?
Yes. We're on an island in an ocean, the world's largest body of water, the Insulindic.
The Insulindic.
Vast, lukewarm, and
Hellhound!
unmovable,
How'd everything go,
flowing
buddy?
in and out
You had a little
of
bit of an
sight.
emergency. You ran away. What's the name of this island?
Caillou, as you already know.
I do.
Imagine a pebble. A smoothed over pebble amidst a great blue sea, misshapen, cracked. The cracks are the river Esperance. We're in the delta of this river on the 6th branch, the Martinez distributary.
It is clear this pebble is of enormous value to her.
Okay, that's Martinez. What's Rivacol?
Rivershore.
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 Everything is okay. A buddy of mine was heading out to Walmart and asked if I
city.
wanted to go. Okay, so not that type of emergency. Got it. Got it. Glad everything's good. Fun fact, if you look at a street map of Riga, it looks a lot like Revachol.
The great kind.
As if it's self-explanatory, beyond patriotism, a fact.
What makes Revachol great?
History detective. They built this city to resolve.
They built
history.
this city
Our
on...
part in it, at least.
No, they didn't.
Our centuries.
Who built this city?
The nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Seminine and Ile Marat, depending on your creed.
When was Revachol built?
In the DeLorean century. 380 years ago.
And why will it resolve history?
They say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. The tensions are highest, the fault lines deepest. By that I mean conflicts. Ideological conflicts.
The stuff of men.
The stuff of men. We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island, able to sustain up to
200 million people.
in the middle of the Insulindic Ocean, the world's connective tissue.
Where the money
It's where
is.
the money is.
Right. So we're in an unimportant part of an important place. So we're pretty much at the center of the world. So we're pretty much at the center of the world.
Oh, we're quite a way off. About
Oh my god, not technically.
22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank of the world building. The bottom
We got
floors
5
are
XP for that, though.
Insiacom. Coalition government, Insulindian Mission Command.
Look to the sea.
Silence. She lowers her hand. The water, the light. It's as
This
though
Inland
listening
Empire
for
one
the
is pretty good.
first
I like what
time.
it says all the time.
There is no recognition, only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from
Where
it.
are we?
We are where we are.
Ooh, I got
have
another
no true
thought!
answer to give, unfortunately.
I haven't done any of that stuff yet.
This is one thought you need to complete.
Where are you?
Where are you?
Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember something about a lowdown.
Jamais vu. Where are you?
This has been informative. Thank you, man. I'm sure my memory-impaired partner has many more questions to ask, about even more fundamental aspects of reality. Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Messier will be here later too, and tomorrow.
And tomorrow.
Absolutely.
True.
My commitment here is long-term.
Yeah, I'll continue later.
It's better not to eat all your candy at once.
Indeed. I'm always at your service.
Okay, so we'll ask some stuff later.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know.
So I need to do
Anything
that.
else?
You seem rich. Can I have some money?
Is what you want to say, but it isn't that easy, is it?
What? Why not?
Look at that lady. Take a gander.
What
Squint
lustrous
your
hair.
eyes. A well-kempt, yet tastefully short bob of dark hair.
I need money to pay off my debts. Where do I get it
She's
from?
elected to keep it. Au natural, shaped into a permanent wave, late 40s style, while dull orange pearls hang from her earlobes. Red From the cold.
Guess
Her
so.
light green eyes scan you, full of knowledge. And now look at you. You misery-clad simian.
Now look at you,
Barely
you piece
able
of
to
shit.
tie your own laces. Your armpits are lakes.
Did you want a
The
hint
scythe
for
of
the
booze
bag?
precedes you.
I'd love to know
Your
where the
hair
bag
sticks to
is,
your forehead,
so I can
and
collect
your
all the
underwear
bottles.
feels uncomfortable. You're poor. Poor as balls.
I'm poor
You
as
can't
balls.
ask this person for money. You're too.
I'm a goddamn working man. I'm not ashamed to shake this leech for some dough. I'm not ashamed.
You think your little communism protects you from this feeling.
You didn't walk
No.
past your badge, but you did
The
walk
more
past a bag.
demeaning
Oh.
it is to grovel at her feet.
Oh.
Oh God.
Where was the bag?
lieutenant is here too. Do not dishonor the force.
What area was the bag in? That's what I meant to say.
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask.
Can I have some money? Asking.
Voila.
Yes!
Really put your back into it. Yell it from the top
You
of
seem
your
rich. Can I have some money? Can I have some money, ma'am? Help me, I'm poor. I need money to keep living. Money! Oh, which one should I do? Can I have some money, ma'am?
Of course. How much do you need?
It's around the telescope things? Okay, cool.
She's surprisingly nonchalant about this. Could it be that she somehow knows more about your predicament than she
Oh
can
my
tell?
god, can I say 130?
That's a good sum. Not too small, not fantastically large.
She removes a few notes and hands them to you.
Oh my god, I got it!
Cold and oily to the touch. Whoa, whoa. Did you see how easy that was? Ask her for more. Toot toot. Trade
No.
to Moneytown. Can you eat honor? Are you an honor?
So, I hope I didn't just bribe you, officer. It may not be technically illegal under the Emergency Act, but still.
I'm still getting my head around this whole money concept. You were just helping me out.
You're right, man, that donations are permitted under the Emergency Act, unseemly as it may be, as long as they're properly logged with the precinct.
Which he most certainly will do. Now, how else? Of course, detective. Take care.
Oh, you know where we're going, baby. You know where we're going. We're gonna go pay off that debt. Get out of here. Get out of here. Oh, and that bag. You said that there's a bag here. By the telescopes. Where was the telescopes? I don't see a bag. Oh, what's this? This. Oh. There it is. There it is. Now, do I have to have the bag in my hand? I do, don't I? How much does that hold? How much does it hold? Oh my god, this is gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. It's a bag of holding. I love it. I love it. Can you get out of my way, please? Oh my god, just take it all. I want to know how much it sells for, but first I'm going to pay off my debt. I'm going to pay off my debt. Come here, come here, come here, come here. Come here.
Can I help you?
But money I owe.
Yes.
I have your money.
It? Well,
I hope you choke on it.
great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered.
Hey, and a new skill point. All right.
He's not sorry about his behavior for your sake. Now that you have money, he really wants to make sure you're not angry with him.
It's good you paid before 9 p.m., or your door would have been locked electronically.
Oh.
Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real.
20 real per night.
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you?
No,